What is going on, everybody? It's the Front, and we're here for AEW on TNT review for last night's late night episode and tonight's episode, which had a bit of a schedule change. Last week, we had an announcement that it was supposed to be Will Hobbs, Darby Allin, and Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks. Then we come to this week's show. And that match was canceled. Why? Because Lance Archer tested positive for COVID-19. Now, this was at his home. It wasn't in the workspace. Hopefully nobody else is compromised. But that match was scrapped. It sucks for Will Hobbs, who just got signed last week. He just got put into this big position. He was going to be a big part of this match. What he did on Dark last night was fantastic. And that main event, that spot on tonight's show was just taken away. It sucks. Hopefully Lance Archer will be fine and be better. We have about 3.5 weeks. We have like 3 weeks before the anniversary show, if I'm correct. 3, maybe 4 weeks from the anniversary show. Well, 3 weeks. So hopefully by the time the anniversary show comes around, Lance Archer will be good to go. We can still have that world title match. So who was going to get the title shot tonight? We'll talk about that later, but for now, we're going to get into last night's show. Last night's show was a 3-match, pretty much advertisement for AEW for NBA fans who do End Sunday NBA. The one problem I had with AEW doing this and having coming off of Inside the NBA is not many people who watch the NBA watch through the entire Inside the NBA. I remember I used to watch Inside the NBA, and I would probably fall asleep or change the channel halfway through, maybe come back and watch the Shaq and the full highlights, and that's about it. Not something that's really worth watching through. I mean, especially for the playoffs, and it's a one game going on that night. You just watch the game. Do you really need to go over the highlights again? No, you don't. But they did get I think it was a 585,000 viewers and a 2.26 in the demo. I know the demo is 0.26. But that's pretty good for being on about 1 o'clock or midnight last night. And there was no motherfucking way I was staying up that late to watch it last night. So I watched it today. And I watched Dark today too. But we start off with Scorpio Sky versus Ben Carter. Who the fuck is this Ben Carter guy? His match with Lee Johnson last night on AEW Dark was the best match in AEW Dark history. I don't care what anyone else says. That was the best match in Dark history. So, this dude has got to be signed. He has got to be signed. He comes out here, he faces Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky, just 2-3 minutes into this match, had that look of, what the hell did I get myself into? They had, Ben Carter, I don't know who he is. I don't know where he came from. Apparently, he faced Ricky Starks once and lost, that was his first match, and he lost to him. Then he had a hell of a barn burner with Lee Johnson last night. And then, about an hour and a half or so later, he is on, a couple hours later, actually, he's on this taped episode of AEW, just burning it down with fucking Scorpio Sky. This was one hell of a match. Just Scorpio Sky getting in there, giving this guy all he could to put this guy over as the guy who could, if they signed him, if he is signed, which I don't know if he actually is, but if he isn't, then they are making a massive mistake. This was a fantastic match. Good way to, if you're having anybody start, watching all the way through Inside the NBA, and AEW turns on, and you want to give them a match to tune into, to stick around, and maybe check your show out tomorrow night, or tonight, I should say, this was the match to go with. This was great. Carter in the ring, big flip out on Sky, tosses Sky back in the ring. Carter heads to the top rope, frog splash, cover, gets a 2. Sky back up, hits a hanging neckbreaker, cover 2. A big "This is awesome" chant from the crowd. Carter reverses a suplex, throws some shots, lands a kick to the back of the head, but Sky with a Fisherman Buster cover 2. Sky looks for a Scorpion Deathlock, which honestly I think he should actually implement into his repertoire. I mean, he is Scorpio Sky. He's going to lock in the Scorpion. You're just picking it right there. That's just easy money right there. Scorpion, Carter kicks him in the face, tries to roll up Sky, but no. Carter tries for some kicks. Nope. Trip down the mat, out, double stomp to the back. Sky with a big boot to the face. TKO. 1, 2, 3. Scorpio Sky gets the hard-fought win. Now, I will have to say this. I don't know. This was great. This was absolutely just Ben Carter, from the 2 matches he had last night, has opened eyes to him to a lot of people. Them putting him on first, the lead-in after the NBA playoffs, just shows how much trust they have in this guy. They could have did the Matt Sydal and Sean Spears match, this match, and then Anna Jay versus Brandy first. But no, they did this match first. So if this guy isn't signed, then I don't know what the hell they're thinking of. So, post-match, Sky helps Carter up, gives him a hug, raises his arm, and gives this guy as much of a put this guy over as much as he can. Hype ready for Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer on October 14th. That match is yet to be determined if it's still going to happen. As I said, Lance Archer officially tests positive for COVID-19. He's quarantining. They say 2 weeks to stop the spread and everything, or to, get over it. I hope he's going to be fine in enough time. But if not, I don't know what they're going to do. Anna Jay versus Brandy Rhodes was just what you thought it was going to be. Brandy Rhodes gets some licks in at the beginning. Anna Jay ends up beating her down after Stu Grayson and Evil Uno come out to distract Brandy and the referee. Brandy with the kick shot of Brandy, cover 2. Of course, the referee was slow to count. Anna Jay with a kick to the head, not just any kick. She did one of those bend down back kicks, like setup kicks to the back of the head. It was like a lift up roundhouse kick. Plies the sleeper, hooks it in. Referee checks on Brandy. Of course, Brandy Rhodes isn't going to tap out. Why would you have Brandy Rhodes tap out? No. Brandy Rhodes has to pass out. That's what she does. Referee calls for the bell, and Anna Jay wins. Now we're in the back after this match, which Anna Jay, I don't even think she's had 30 matches in her career yet. And she is good. Now, is she one of the best? Not yet. She's going to get there. Anna Jay, I can honestly see within a year from now, maybe all out next year, could be challenging for the AEW Women's Championship and winning it and holding it for a good while. She is damn good. I find it funny how she took one match. She had one match, boom, hired. Signed her immediately. While you have Will Hobbs, who was a jobber on Dark for weeks and months, took him a while to sign. Don't know if Ben Carter signed, but if he's not signed, they're making a massive mistake. That dude should have been signed this morning. Just saying. But Sky backstage says Ben Carter is a stud, and he's going to be around for a while. He continues and says he's going after the AEW TNT Championship soon. He's going to get focused back on that after getting that big win tonight. Matt Sydal suddenly shows up and gives him props with Sky. Sky then hypes up Sydal and bring a bit before his match, and he does an impression of Ric Flair. Sydal heads off to the match against Sean Spears, who he eliminated in the Casino Battle Royal. We get a hype for the TNT Championship match, which was supposed to be the main event tonight until the news of Lance Archer's sickness. So we have this match here, Sydal versus Sean Spears. Sean Spears peaked. I'm just going to say this now. Sean Spears peaked at his match with Cody. He has done absolutely next to nothing. If anybody needed to be in a faction, needed to be like one of those guys in a group, it is Sean Spears, because they have done almost nothing with him. They gave him Tully Blanchard as a manager. He's off being manager with FTR as well. They haven't shown the complete association with those three guys yet. But if anybody needed to be in a faction and look like they have something for him, it's Shawn Spears. The glove really isn't doing anything for him. Yeah, he's on Dark winning matches, but that's Dark. This is his first time, I think, on TNT in months? If I'm right? In a singles match on TNT, I think this is the first time, ever? I could be wrong, but it's been a while. It's funny, I saw a tweet this morning that Shawn Spears left WWE because he didn't want to be a mid-carder, only to come to AEW to be a mid-carder, because that's exactly what he's been. And it's just, the match was okay. Spears out of the floor, tries to take a breather on the chair, then gets drop kicked. Seidel grabs the chair and goes to the ring. Referee takes it away. Tully loads up Spears' glove with the steel slugs. Seidel moves him into the ring. Seidel heads up to the top for the shooting star press. He has the leap off early. Spears looks for the C4. Seidel counters, eats a punch at the steel slug. C4 cover 1, 2, 3. After the match, Spears looks to beat Seidel up some more. Sky runs out and chases Spears out of the ring. Sky goes to check on Seidel. Spears almost jumps him from behind, but Sky notices him and Spears bounces to the stage. Sky talks with Seidel and raises his arm as the show comes to a close. Yeah. I will say that the show started off great. That is how you start off a show. I'm sorry, that is how you start off a show. With that Ben Carter Scorpio Sky match. Anna Jay versus Brandy was going to be nothing more than it was. It was just a match to get Brandy Rhodes on TV. Even though nobody really wants to see Brandy Rhodes wrestle because Brandy Rhodes isn't that good of a wrestler. And Seidel versus Shawn Spears could have been a lot better probably, but it is what you got. So, we move on to tonight's show. Kip Sabian performing before it heads to the ring. Sabian's on the mic and hypes up the ring debut of the best man, Miro. Taking on Kip Sabian and Miro take on Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. And I'm just going to say this now. Miro is going to be one of the most over guys in this company. And before tonight, he hadn't even had a match. WWE dropped the ball with this guy so badly. It's not even funny how badly they dropped the ball with this guy. And if there's no Miro Day shirt in the AEW shop by the end of tonight, they are absolutely They're absolutely missing out on a gold mine of money. So now, was it a great match? No, it was a decent match. Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss are not really going to be a team that you're going to see go far. Not really. Miro versus Kip Sabian, I don't think it's going to be a team thing for very long. I don't know if they plan on having them be a tag team after the whole wedding thing, whatever that's going to be, probably on the anniversary show. Just, Miro, he looked good. I mean, there was one part where he grabbed, I think he had Sonny Kiss, and he picked him up and threw him down in a Uranagi, and it looked so devastating. It looked brutal, absolutely brutal. Kip Sabian ended up over the what is it called? The railing, which looked pretty bad. Guys, calm down. You don't need to use the railing every single match. Calm on. But Miro gets back in the ring and destroys his opponents. Sabian looks to take out Kiss. No luck. Miro tags in, but Kiss is trying to fight back. Miro pops him with the lung blower. Miro with the cover, but Janela breaks it up. Janela ends up getting tossed out to the floor. Miro with a big kick to Kiss's face. Stomp on the back. Camel clutch locked in. Kiss taps out. Well, they can't call it the Accolade anymore, so what are they going to call it this? They're going to call it now. I mean, they know how you just love giving finishing moves names all the time. So, Miro's still using the camel clutch, and he wins. Eddie Kingston immediately heads out to the ring when Miro and Sabian make their exits. Kingston on the mic, and he says he wants to talk to all the people. Kingston lets everyone know tonight is him versus AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. Says he wasn't eliminated from the Casino Battle Royal, and 18 years in wrestling says he's earned a damn shot. Says he and Moxley were cut from the same cloth. Absolutely. They have... as you will see in the match, if you watch the match tonight, they have really good chemistry together. And you want to know why? Because they have the same type of fighting styles. We'll talk about it later. But Moxley went off as sold his soul to the devil of sports entertainment. He calls out Moxley and says before the match he wants to look into Moxley's eyes. John heads out to the ring from the stands. He looks pissed off. Kingston gets right in Moxley's face and talks a whole lot of trash. Referee officials are out to break things up. So, yes, that is your main event for tonight. Jon Moxley takes on Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston, I honestly don't think this is where they were going to go with it, with Eddie Kingston keep saying he never lost the Battle Royal. I kind of figured next week they would have had Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer, or the week after that, having a match with the winner going to October 14th to take on Jon Moxley. But hey, I know, and I'm not trying to say I'm glad that somebody got sick or something, but hey, it worked out in the end for them because they didn't have to think of what they needed to do. One door closes, another one opens, and Eddie Kingston got his match, even though he was never eliminated. And if I'm correct, didn't Lance Archer go over the top rope when he got back into the ring? So he went over the top rope to go onto the stage. So technically, Eddie Kingston should have been getting the title shot anyway. That's just on me. That's just what I'm saying. But yeah, Eddie Kingston is just so good on commentary. I could never, ever do this guy justice. Same thing with MJF and so many others. Kenny Omega joins commentary because guess what? Hangman Adam Page takes on somebody else, and this time it's Evil Uno of the Dark Order. It was a match. You can say that. It was a match. Big Larry from Page and flattens Uno. The Dark Order had made their way to the back. Page with a running shooting star press, cover 2. Page with a forearm, pop-up powerbomb, high stack pin. Cover 2. Page got on the apron, buckshot lariat, Dex Uno. 1, 2, 3. Omega tries the best to put over Page's hot streak. Jim Ross asks Omega when he's getting in the ring, and Omega isn't exactly straightforward when he's getting back in the ring and heads off. I see that AEW is going to slowly burn. Because honestly, they're not doing another pay-per-view till November with Full Gear. And we're building towards the anniversary show on the 14th. So, if they wanted the match between Hangman Page and Kenny Omega to happen, they want it to happen at Full Gear. So we have another 3 weeks before we get to the next. We get to the anniversary show, and then we can worry about Full Gear after that. And if they want this match to happen, you have it at Full Gear. So that's why it feels like they're slow burning this, as they probably should. It is the slowest of slowest burns. Tony Schiavone is backstage with the Young Bucks. He is a bit hesitant to knock on the door, as he should be. I mean, ask Alex Marvez. And what happened to Matt opens the door and Tony flinches. Matt says he knows he's been acting a bit out of line lately and they are trying to do better. He's hoping fans at home see that Matt and Nick have gone through a lot. They lost title opportunities and even friendships. Tony wonders if they could repair things and also brings up FTR. Matt doesn't want to talk about FTR. Tony talks again about FTR again. Matt wonders if Tony is trying to make him mad. He asks Tony if he could see his phone. Tony hands it and Matt smashes it against the wall. Matt then tosses the cash to Tony and goes back to his locker room. Yeah, you kind of made him mad. I mean, what the fuck was Tony? Why would you do that, Tony? Why? Now, I know this is another one that's slow burning. Do I think we're going to get FTR versus the Young Bucks at Full Gear? I would say no. I think they need to hold that off to at least Revolution or Double or Nothing. I really think they need to do that, for sure. Absolutely. Hold it off as long as they can, because the longer you hold it off, you build the story right, it's going to be that much more epic. Do I think that it would be fine at Full Gear? Yeah. Would it be the only one that happens at Full Gear? Would that be the only match between these two? Hell no. And obviously the story is there. We've wanted this for so long. Fans, the Young Bucks, and FTR. FTR got the tag team titles before the Young Bucks did. And it's all going to fall into place. Again, another reason, AEW really did hurt themselves for a lot of things, because the Young Bucks, FTR, if they're trying to hold that off until Full Gear, they want to again wait until after the anniversary show on the 14th. And of course, Hangman Page and Kenny Omega is something else that it seems like they're holding off until after the 14th. But it's okay sometimes to have that, but it does kind of like, it's like, what are they, it's good to have something like, if they have a plan for FTR and the Bucks and Omega and Hangman Page, at least they have a plan and it's not something they're going to throw together last minute. Brody Lee versus Orange Cassidy, the TNT Championship match. This match was supposed to happen in the main event, but as we mentioned before, this is probably where the 6-man tag match would have taken place, but instead they put this here, and Jon Moxley, of course, be on the main event. Well, it was a good match. Orange Cassidy, I think they need to take Orange Cassidy out of the ring for a bit. I mean, yeah, Jericho did what he needed to do to get Orange Cassidy over as a main event player. But the biggest thing about Orange Cassidy is you're overexposing this guy. Orange Cassidy has wrestled more matches in the last 3 months than he did in the entire first 6 months of AEW's existence. I just think it's just getting a little too much. It's time to get this guy back to being just a guy who just does a thumbs up, doesn't do much, is the outside guy for the Best Friends for a bit. But of course, this is just like, it's just like anything else. It's like putting the toothpaste back into the tube after you already put it out there. It's impossible. Cassidy with a suicide dive looks for another and pops Lee at the forearm suicide dive. Cassidy has to dodge the other Dark Order members back in the ring. Cassidy with a stunner on Lee. Heads to the top rope, driving DDT. Cassidy with the kip up. Running penalty kick, another one. Lee is just mad, gets up, but takes a tornado DDT. Air raid crash on the champ, pin 2. Orange punch misses but on John Silver, but Lee hits a powerbomb on Cassidy. Discus lariat, 1, 2, 3. And the winner is, and still champion, Brody Lee. But that's not the talking point. After the match, you see a weird video thing playing up with some music. And then Cody's music hits. And Cody comes out. The Nightmare family logo on the screen is red. It looks like blood dripping off of it. He comes out with dark hair. He has lost his blonde. He is now back to being the dark-haired Cody we should all know and love. He gets in the ring and clears out multiple members of the Dark Order. He destroys 5, puts the figure 4 on him in the middle of the ring. Backstage, Anna Jay scares Dasha as Brody Lee she takes the mic from Dasha, hands it to Brody Lee. Lee says he can't believe Cody would have the audacity to take his thunder after 5 weeks of being gone. You've been home doing whatever, and I've been here doing my job. He brings up Brandi Lee in his angered promo and says Cody is no man, he is a coward. He then offers a dog collar match against Cody. He tells Cody he has 1 week to answer him. Are you a man or are you a coward? A fucking dog collar match. Those are some of the most dangerous matches you can have. I think the one that talked about the most, it was the Roddy Piper dog collar match. I can't remember who he was actually against. It was Roddy Piper, and I can't remember who it was, and that was a bloody fucking match. I think was it Roddy Piper and the British Bulldog? I can't remember. But yeah, so those are some bloody matches. Those are some, because you got to think you're wearing dog collars around your neck. If you could get really fucked up by that match. But if they're going to do a legit dog collar match, or they're going to do a WWE edition of the dog collar match, all I know is a dog collar match between those two would be something interesting. For the title, do I see Cody winning back the championship? I don't know. Do we really need to see a 2-time champion in AEW right now for any of these championships? I would say no. There's so many other talents out there who should get a chance to win the championship. But it's like, I'm sitting there thinking, who's going to beat Brody Lee for his championship? And right now, unless one of the big guys, unless Luchasaurus has a match against him and they want to put him over, or Brian Cage, or Lance Archer, or Wardlow turn babyface, which a lot of the big men are heel. How about that? Then I really don't know who you're gonna have put over for this. Put over. It's one of those. It's just one of those things that I just don't know. Matt Hardy makes his way to the ring with Private Party. Hardy limps his way to the ring after last week's backstage attack. Hardy said we're still trying to figure out who was the person that attacked him. Hardy lists off a bunch of people. It feels like Chris Jericho is his prime suspect. He says Jericho can have his... he says he's the demo god, but he's just an asshole. Man, I remember when he first made his debut and had that thing and he called him a hole of an ass. God, I miss that Matt Hardy. Jericho comes out with the rest of the Inner Circle, Santana Ortiz, Jake Hager. Jericho marks Hardy's birthday and brings up how Hardy put Sammy Guevara out of AEW after their match, and who knows when he's coming back. And actually, he's back right now as Sammy runs out and gives Jericho a hug. Jericho says Hardy should know better than Jericho just taking him out with a bat. Jericho says if he did it, he would make sure Hardy would see him eye to eye when he did it. He wonders if Hardy wants to get hit with it now. Hardy wants to fight now. Private Party tries to cool Hardy down a bit before he's cleared. Mark Quinn says he's cleared and could take him out. Cassidy takes the mic and says he's issued Jericho a challenge one-on-one next week. Nobody expects him to win, but if a 21-year-old beats the legendary Jericho, what if I make Chris Jericho my champion bitch? Wow. Good line right there. But that is the one time to use bitch on the night, and I'm sure that didn't make Jericho happy. FTR with Tully Blanchard out in the ring with Tony Schiavone to explain the 20 minutes with greatness stipulation with the champions. Tully hypes up his guys, but he wonders what makes them the best in the ring. Says next week they get to show the fans their greatness, and it will be SCU in a 20-minute match. Dax Hardwood says it doesn't matter who they face next, it will be best friends or anyone. Best friends head out and say they might be banged up from last week's parking lot fight, which again, if you haven't seen that match, you need to go see it because holy shit, that was the greatest fucking parking lot brawl or like hardcore match we've seen in at least the last 20 years. But they will take on FTR right now. FTR initially disagree, but Ron Wheeler gets on the ring and says best friends aren't healed up, so maybe another week. Chuck Taylor on the mic says, so say what you want about Santana Ortiz, but they aren't a bunch of weenies and are always looking for a fight. Did you have to say fucking weenies though? Like seriously. Chuck and Trent then hug in the middle of the ring as FTR head to the back. So FTR, just being typical heels, trying to piss off everybody else who was baby faces. That's fine. Like I said, the big money match is going to be FTR versus the Young Bucks for the tag team titles, and I believe that's going to be, you know what? I think we're going to get FTR versus the Bucks at the next 3 pay-per-views. At Full Gear, Revolution, Double or Nothing. And honestly, if everything goes right in the first one, that match, that feud deserves that type of feud. Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida versus Ivelisse and Diamante. Of course, this match came from the last week after Ivelisse lost to Thunder Rosa. Diamante got in the ring and attacked Thunder Rosa, and Hikaru Shida came in and made the save, and that's where this match is coming from. Sadly, this looks like to be the last time we will see Thunder Rosa on AEW television anytime soon. She did tweet out after this match was over, that her October is opened completely, so that makes it seem like she is done with AEW. If that is the case, that is such a shame. So things break down quickly with Rosa and Shida beating up Diamante on the floor. They do a double running knee into Ivelisse, I believe it was, on the apron. Rosa and Ivelisse out on the floor. Diamante looks for a code red. Rosa stops that and hits a Death Valley driver. Shida nails Falcon Arrow cover. Ivelisse stops the count. Rosa sends Ivelisse down to the floor. Shida clocks Diamante with the running knee. 1, 2, 3. And Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa win the match. So if Thunder Rosa is done with AEW, it was a hell of a month and a half, I will say. But again, it's like, please, I even replied and said, "Please, more matches with AEW. The women's division needs you." It just shows how much this division needs someone like Thunder Rosa. One of the biggest problems with AEW's women's division is a lot of their women, from Anna Jay to Britt Baker to Chris Statlander to, like, I think Big Swole and others too, are very, I don't know how long Big Swole's been wrestling, but a lot of them are very new to the business or green as grass. I mean, Serena D, they just hired, but she looks like she's going to be on Dark right now. She, of course, has been in the business for a good bit of time. Hopefully that will help. Tay Conti has been in the business for a while. Hopefully she can be, I think she's been in the business for like 3-4 years at least, but that's better than most of these women. It's just, it's like a lot of the women are green and need time. And what sucks about these women and needing time is that one match a week, or like you have a match on Dark once a month or once every 2 times a month, isn't going to get the time that they need. AEW really, since AEW is stuck in Jacksonville right now in the Daily's place, which it's kind of funny because the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins have a game tomorrow in Jacksonville. So if AEW would have been pushed to Thursday this week, that would have been kind of interesting because it would have been AEW and the football game at the same time. Daily's Place and the football stadium, I can't remember the name of the football stadium, would have been going at the same. And backstage we have Chris Jericho with Dasha Gonzalez about Isaiah Cassidy challenging him in a match next week. Jericho says he might be a big star in AEW, but it won't be next week. Jericho says the only shot Cassidy is feeling will be from him in the ring. MJF just strolls up and says it's awful someone like Cassidy would disrespect Jericho. Jericho says that means a lot from him. Uncrowned champion, that means a lot. They both say each other are great, and they say so. Why did you call me a loser from what happened last week? They bicker a bit. MJF says he would never do that. He was saying about the limo driver. Jericho says he was calling Tony Schiavone a loser. They both laugh, bump fists. They each say they're all right and head off. So I'm just taking from this after last week and this week. We're leading to an MJF Chris Jericho match. It's just happening. I don't think it's going to happen a full year. No. That's too early. But we're getting a Chris Jericho and MJF match. It just feels like, and that is a pay-per-view match, no doubt about it. Next week, we have that Chris Jericho vs. Isaiah Cassidy match. Britt Baker is going to be squashing somebody. But FTR versus SCU, Ricky Starks versus Darby Allin, and Jon Moxley will be appearing. Then it was announced that I was wondering why, because they're doing the anniversary show on the 14th. Now, we know that AEW's first show was on October 1st last year. So why weren't they doing it on October the 7th? We finally found out why. Because October 14th is not going to be the only anniversary show that they do. October 7th, AEW will be celebrating Jericho's 30 years in wrestling. That's right. The week before the big anniversary show for AEW itself, we are having the AEW Jericho 30 anniversary. Holy shit. And then AEW World Championship October the 14th will be Eddie Kingston or Jon Moxley, because the match didn't happen yet, versus Lance Archer. And then we go to that main event, Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for the AEW World Championship. Like I said earlier, it sucks that COVID-19 hit Lance Archer. I hope the dude's okay. Like I said, I don't know anyone personally who has COVID. I live in a really small town, and we've only had 62 cases or 32 cases. I think it's like 32 cases. That's about it. So yeah, we're in September, and my town has only had like 32 cases. Thank goodness. But we have a bit of a feeling out process between these two. This eventually leads to the out. They end up going to the outside 100%. Of course they would. These guys, you can just tell when two guys are cut from the same cloth. They have great chemistry together. And you can honestly see these guys, like when Jon Moxley eventually loses the world title, and it's going to happen eventually. I don't know when it's going to happen. It might be Pac who beats him later, like at Revolution. It could be Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing, something like that. But he's going to lose that title. And after that, I could see them revisiting this match and having Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston have a feud that goes all the way to, like, say he loses the title at Revolution. You could have Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston in a match at Double or Nothing that is more of their style. Hardcore, lights out match. That's what I would go with. Kingston has a pretty rough looking bruise on his back from the battle. Both are now slapping the hell out of each other. Kingston tries for a spinning back fist, which apparently is his finisher. Moxley dodges in, knocks in the sleeper, goes into the bulldog choke. Eddie passes out, and the referee stops the match. Post-match, Lucha Bros run in and double suplex Moxley. They beat up the champion in the ring corner. Will Hobbs runs out and gives Phoenix a spine buster. Great to see Will Hobbs actually getting some time. It might not be what he wanted, but to get him at least have a moment at the end of the show was good. Penta turns around and takes a big punch. Kingston hits an forearm, but Lucha Bros with a double super kick on Hobbs. Allen runs out to the ring with a skateboard and clears out the ring for a moment. Ricky Starks runs out and lands a big spear on Allen. Taz walks out as Hobbs. Moxley and Allen all get beat up. Stark drives a skateboard into Allen. Kingston barks at a knockdown Moxley. Kingston and the company stand tall as the show comes to a close. Now, apparently, maybe it wasn't just Lance Archer who got sick. It seems like now, after the match got canceled, Brian Cage came out and said that he's sick. Like, I don't know if that meant that he's sick and he has COVID too, or he's just sick and pissed off that his big moment to try and, get into that spot again got, like, pulled away from him because, the 6-man tag match, if he happens to get a win, he would be next in line after everything. I don't know, but AEW, yes, they are not immune to getting people with COVID-19. But they are doing a hell of a lot better job than WWE. Apparently, NXT tonight was heavily edited, or had to be heavily re-edited because of COVID problems. I don't know exactly what problems they had, but yeah, it just didn't seem like that was a good thing for them. But AEW had a good show tonight. And Cody's back. Can't wait to see what happens with him. Dog collar match. That's got to be something you do probably on that anniversary show. Would TNT allow an actual bloody dog collar match? Maybe. I mean, they had that brawl last week. But go check out the late night show. If you didn't see it last night, go check out this show tonight as well. But that is your AEW on TNT review for both nights. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. And find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I'll see you guys Friday for SmackDown. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.